fun. But who here has traveled enough to where you land in a place and you just feel like you don't belong, you know? That's more or less what we're going to be covering tonight. So on the agenda, this is what we're going to be going over. Is it showing up? Yes, perfect. All right, so we're going to cover the yearly agenda, everything we've been going through, fun announcement, some digital nomad news, digital nomad humor. We're going to take a quiz, and then we're going to cover something that keeps popping up a lot. And I want y'all to give me your opinion as well, because it should be very obvious if you are an American when you see this stuff. And then we're going to be covering like new cultures, health and safety, and then a few book recommendations that I always like to leave you with. So with that, this is everything we've been going over for the program. So if you've been with us through the beginning, you know we have covered quite a bit. So now we're slowly getting to that part where like, you know, hey, I travel, but adapting to different cultures is hard, it's difficult, and it can be sort of a grind. And it can also make you feel like isolated. You know, you might start to have some depression because you don't feel fit in, or you don't understand the language, things like that. And then in May, we're going to cover success tips and preventing burnout. I'm looking to get it extended because a lot of people do want to be a part of this. I actually have a number of people right now that are messaging me like, hey, where's the live stream? And so since we started late, the live stream was paused, and they're all like, you know, emailing me, messaging me, like, hey, I can't see the live stream, like, what's going on? So it is back up, so that's there. So, but yeah, any questions about this agenda so far? Anything you might have missed that you wanted to talk about? So, yeah. Taxes? Oh, I know, taxes are lovely. And what is today?
Tax day.
Tax day, absolutely. So if you have not filed taxes and you're here, hey, you are very ambitious, you know. So this is the fun announcement. And in case you didn't know, because of tax day, Cidercade is free today. Who here has been to Cidercade? Who here has not been to Cidercade? You need to go. It's free.
What is Cidercade?
So Cidercade is a place where they have retro arcades, pinballs, a bar, and a restaurant. And guess what? It's located right on the river. Like that's prime real estate right there. So it actually used to be a Joe's Crab Shack a long time ago. And so Cidercade finally took over the space. They redid the whole thing, and it has been free since 10 a.m. this morning to go. So if you've never been, go, because we're going to go after this with some people. And it's a lot of fun. So if you like old retro video games, they have those. They have basketball. They have air hockey, all that stuff.
Only today is free?
Only today is free because of taxes. They're rewarding you because you did your taxes. And if you haven't,
that's right.
You need to bring
anything?
something that says you pay taxes, or?
No, no, you
Did
don't.
you need it? You need to file an extension?
Oh yeah, oh man, all those people that got file extensions, yeah. All right, so some digital nomad news. I always like to cover this because again, a lot of people are not looking for this stuff. So these are a few things. So Italy launched a new digital nomad visa. They do have a number of requirements, so I do want to cover that. And there are more than 60 countries now that are offering digital nomad visas all over the world. So we're going to cover some of those, but I also want to get into like the stats, because there are some countries that literally have no tax requirements. Unfortunately, if you are a true American,
I'm not.
oh, wow, you're lucky.
So I wanted to ask when's America going to be on the digital nomad?
So yeah, so the idea is like, you know, there's really only two countries that do taxation by citizenship, and that is the U.S. and the, what is it, Eritrea, yeah, exactly. And then that's it. Everybody else is sort of just like, hey, you know, taxation based on residence, like where you live, is like Japan, you know, Singapore, places like that. So if you're there, but you're somewhere else, then taxes are sort of like non-existent, but yes.
Okay, thank you for
and then digital nomad and big tech. I saw this one guy who he wrote an article about his life as a senior software developer and engineer, and he's been remote ever since for a very long time. And he has actually gotten promoted a number of times in his job because he works so well with remote teams. And if you know that there's this world of like remote work that's just been exploding, there's a lot of people now that are learning how to really manage remote teams very well. I help people build remote teams, And managing that is stressful because you don't know really what's going on and you don't understand like, hey, how do I structure this person over here to do this and how do they communicate? If there are different departments, how do I set that system up? So that is becoming a new skill now because it's everything that we deal with now. So
Yeah, I'm interested to hear
all right.
about this.
Let me go to here. Yes, so I want to cover this part right here. Italy launches new digital map. So where to apply, requirements. So let me just get into.
Where is possible to find a list of the 60 countries?
Oh, I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna everything that you saw. We're gonna be covering it here. Yeah. So right here, if you notice, to take advantage of it, remote workers must have an annual income at least 3 times the minimum level required for exemption and participate in healthcare costs. So again, that comes out to about 30,000 for most Americans. Yeah. So as long as your income requirements are there, then you can apply. Yeah. So the visa is good for 1 year and can be renewed. So.
This is the Italian.
This is the Italy's one, yes. So because they just launched it, there's a lot of requirements, things like that. You must have health insurance for your whole time that you're there. And remember, digital nomad visa means that you can come and go. So you live there, but you also make money there. You know, so it is a workaround. And applicants must visit a valid Italian consulate. Do not go if it is an Italian restaurant. It does not work. So.
Olive Garden.
Yeah, Olive Garden does not qualify as your consulate. And then you submit a declaration signed by your employer as part of the process. So that's something else that I just want to point out here. Where is it? I think it is. Yeah, so the worker should be either self-employed or in collaboration with an employee of a company. So when you apply, you have to show proof of all this stuff from your employer or that you have been working for yourself for the past 6 months with valid income. So yeah. And they do have a big policy. If you have any crimes of any kind in the past 5 years, your application will be rejected. Yeah, so there you go. So if anybody's nervous about that, don't apply. But other than that, you know that the history of Italy has really been trying to get people to come to this country. Any reason why? Yes, okay, tell the story.
Capital flight and brain drain over the last 100
Exactly.
years, which
Right.
is why I'm here.
Right, exactly. So did everybody get that?
So you're done?
Yeah, I'm Italian.
Yeah.
But I actually claimed citizenship during COVID through my great-grandfather. So now I can go, but yeah, the idea was everybody started leaving the 1800s and 1900s through Ellis Island, South Philly, New York City, Chicago, Little Italy, and all these different cities for industry.
Yeah. So if you go to Italy, you'll notice there's a lot of coastal towns that are just completely empty. Like there's just like a lot of little houses and everything. They're just scattered all over in the rural parts of Italy, and they're just empty. Because people are just like, there's no internet. There's easy access to food, and because the mafia sort of still runs the rule of thumb there, crime there is still a problem. Because I was watching. Did you ever see that show In Search of Italy with Stanley Tucci on CNN? He did a whole, I think it was an 8-part series, where he went in and hopefully it comes back up. Let me see. So basically what happened was he went over there, he interviewed a whole bunch of people, and he found out that people who would go set up these businesses, if you did not get permission to be there, you were going to learn your lesson real fast. And one of these people had set up a cafe. I guess apparently they didn't pay the tax, and one night it was on fire, and that was their message to the owners. And it was like, hey, you didn't follow the rule of thumb in this town, and you're not welcome here. So it was one of those things where like running a business in Italy is still rough, and so that's why there's so many problems happening there.
Because I also saw on Instagram that they allowing to rent the house for like €1 a month because of those digital nomad visa. And I was like wondering why, and now I know why.
Right. So
We gotta rebuild society.
I know, right? Yeah, so
Everybody.
I think it's a network issue.
it is a network issue, so I messaged her again, basically the idea is, did you ever hear of the dollar homes in Italy, what the requirements were? Who here knows about the dollar homes?
You gotta renovate them.
You gotta renovate them, but what is the cost to renovate them?
100,000 plus.
No, it's 25. It's 25,000 minimum, okay?
Okay.
So as long as you put in $25,000 minimum, you can get the house for $1. So just, most people, they're just like, hey, you know, if I was to spend 100K renovating my house in the US or UK or anywhere else, wouldn't it make more sense to just put in 25K in Italy and get a house there? And a lot of people are just like, yeah, I'll do that. Any problems with that?
In the middle of nowhere.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Underserved and
Right.
what
You know.
kind of services are
Next
there?
door.
Exactly. There's not HEB around the corner. Your road is gravel, you know, and your internet is probably non-existent or like barely there. So yeah, your home's gonna be $1 first. And so they're trying this program, and a lot of people have taken advantage of it. And of course, many of those people have gone into Airbnb it after they, restored it. And for many Americans or travelers, like, yeah, I get to be here for 2 weeks, but if you actually live there, what are you doing?
Language.
Work. If you have internet.
Yeah.
If you have internet, Otherwise, you gotta go work in the local grocery store or something like that, which is probably a couple miles away, So there's no transportation, there's no bus or anything like that. But yeah, it's a program that they have really been trying to pump up, and so there are people who like it. And if you go on YouTube, you'll see all kinds of stories of people who did the program, and this is their experience. And then you have the people who did the program, and they're like, don't do this.
What's it called?
Dollar Homes Italy. Just search Dollar Homes Italy. And it is an interesting way of trying to get people there. In fact, a couple of months back, I had talked about Italy also launched a program where there's this little island, I think off the coast of Sicily, and they're trying to bring people in. Okay, they will pay you to be there. Okay, they will pay you to live there. He's laughing. He knows what's coming. He knows what's coming. So the reason why they're paying you to be there is because they want you to bring your knowledge back to the community on this island. But there's a catch.
There's no running water.
No internet. There's no internet on the island.
Not even Starlink, come on, man.
If you can bring your Starlink, by all means. But other than that, do not ask in your, I don't even know if it's a hotel, your humble abode, where the Ethernet port is, or where the Wi-Fi connection, because there's none. But they're gonna pay you to be there to share your knowledge of what it is you're experienced in with the community that does live on that island. So if you're looking to go to Italy for free, you get paid.
Why don't they just take that money and reinvest and put it in the internet? That would entice you to do that.
Well, how long is the program?
The program, they said, it runs anywhere between 6 months and a year. So if you're looking
Every 6 months.
exactly, and you don't have to stay when you're not teaching. So you can go and travel as much as you want. And for a lot of people, I would say do it, go in, do that kind of stuff, teach, and then have the locals show you around. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've told so many people, like, when you land in a place, don't be afraid to talk to locals. Like, go to meetups, go to groups, go to networking events. So many times I've met digital nomads that they're so afraid to actually connect with the community. They're just like, yeah, but I'm here for business. I'm like, no, you are a digital nomad. If you're here for business, that means you're only here for business and then you go back. A digital nomad means you're there to live there and to make money there. Just like you are in Austin, you live and work here, so. But yeah, that's sort of that catch where, like, if you're gonna go and be a digital nomad, you want to experience the culture, you want to be a part of it. So go find a yoga group, go find a walking group, go find like a networking group, a co-working space. I mean, you're probably not gonna find all these like remote islands in Italy, but you can start your own.
I bet you can meditate really well there.
Oh, I'm sure. Looking off the coast with like all the animals walking around you.
It'd be a great place for a retreat or a sabbatical.
Exactly, and in fact, there's a lot of people I have seen online that what they do is.
Is that you?
Yeah, it is right there. Yes. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so you can exit out of the Cisco stuff.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
and just share your screen like usual.
Awesome. All right.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. All right, we are back to normal. So let me go back to this one right here. Okay. So yeah, so these homes right here, they started that back in 2010, and they have been doing that for quite a while. So if you're looking to do that as an investment, again, here's an idea, like you could literally go renovate one of these homes, and then if you are at that level, start a mastermind group and make that your retreat. You know? So how many times have you seen mastermind groups online and your mouth drops at the prices? Like what does Iman Ghazi's like mastermind cost? Do you know? Do you?
No.
Anybody want to guess? Iman Ghazi?
Who? No, just say his name again.
Iman Ghazi.
Never heard of it.
He is like the, if you know Alex Hormozy, then this guy is like almost right up there. Iman Ghazi right here.
You know, I just go like day after day.
Yeah, so basically if you wanted to do his like, I think mastermind, I think it's like $100K for a ticket. You know? Yeah, I think that's the.
And what's his skill set?
So his, that's a good question. So his skill set is sort of like, hey, I'm going to show you how to maximize your productivity in your life. I'm going to show you how to do certain things, like use software better, build teams better. Basically, just learn how to make money a lot faster, and by being very more resourceful with your time, connecting with people, showing you like different ways to like map out. Like if you're running a business on your own, hey, I'm going to show you how it should be structured, things like that. So he is based in Dubai, which most people are if they're from the UK. Any reason why? Dubai has no,
I get that.
you can say it louder, taxes, that's right. So, but they have a lot of fees, so we'll just count that, you know. But yeah, so he has been doing this for quite a while, and he, buying a jet, which is obviously normal, and productivity hacks, and day in the life of a millionaire in London, because we all need to know about that. And then we have, 17 laws of success, because why not? So he has sort of like built this platform for many, many years, and because of that, he can charge ridiculous prices. And the problem is, his tickets sell out. So, going back to Italy, why not, right? Let's just find a little house, renovate it, and then go from there. So let me see if I can find, there we go, okay. We're in the 60 countries, and the part that I want to cover here, these are the stats that I want you to look at, okay? Anything that pops out, please say it.
That's nice. 80% of destinations process applications within 1 month. That's nice.
Surprised that 39% of the destinations exempt the digital nomads from tax payments.
Yeah,
Because they just wanted you to stimulate the economy.
that's right, that's right.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you want to mention, like, I see the 183 days, so you want to mention the trifecta idea?
Please, come on, yeah. Okay.
If anybody has heard of Nomad Capitalist, he's a fellow who's originally from the Midwest. He left, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, and he eventually did renounce his American citizenship, but he made an international business where he helps individuals and entrepreneurs diversify globally their presence, their residencies, citizenships, and assets. And something that he coined was called the trifecta method, where you can essentially, if you're an American, if you spend 11 months out of a 12-month period outside the United States, you can exempt yourself from federal income taxes. But how do you avoid triggering the 183 days of stay in any other country is you do this trifecta method, which is you do 4 months in each place.
Yeah.
So he ended up, I think his 3 main places, he ended up choosing were Mexico City, Tbilisi, Georgia, and his main shop of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And he just bought little apartments in each place, so he has access to continue to do that.
Yeah. So, anybody here know Nomad, Capitalist Nomad? No, okay, I'm gonna bring it up. Just so you have it for reference. But yeah, I mean, I read his book a long time ago, and that is his tagline. So if you've never heard of that tagline, I would probably say write it down, put it on your shirt or something, sew it in your underwear. But yeah, I mean, it always surprises me that many people don't do that. So he shows you how to accomplish all these different things. And when you read his book, he just shows you like how to obtain second residencies, second citizenships, how to invest your money offshore, things like that. And he's been doing this for a very, very long time. So yeah. So going back to this guy right over here, then you have all these different stats that tell you like, hey, this is really growing and it's just gonna keep getting bigger, bigger, and bigger. So, who was the first one to have a digital nomad visa?
Estonia.
Very good, yes, Estonia is one,
Mhm.
yes. And in fact, it's only as recent as July 2020, so digital nomad visas are still fairly new, you know, this is still coming around. And they do spend a lot of money. So it's not like this is something that is going away. The economic impact that digital nomads have around the world for economies is quite robust, you know, so.
Why do you actually need a digital nomad visa to be somewhere and work from there?
Because if you go in on a tourist visa and you start making money, you're just like, hey, I'm gonna live here for a little bit, I'm gonna get an Airbnb, I'm gonna stay, and I'm gonna do that, nobody's gonna find out, I'll be fine, right? Wrong. They're gonna know, because you came into the country, you came through the border, and if you start making money, they're just like, and they don't get their cut, some of the countries have it where you will go to jail, or you will get your visa back, or you will
But
get
if
kicked
you're
out.
making money in this specific country, what if you're working online?
Well, they will still work.
How?
You know, so.
Sorry, I've
So
been
no,
doing
it's
this
okay.
for 4
No,
years, no one
yeah,
can
yeah,
find out.
So there's a lot of people that have constantly challenged me on that stuff, and there's so many videos that just say like you are tempting your visa when you do that. Like you're literally tempting your taxes, your visa, all that stuff, because there's a trail that eventually comes around. You know, they may not knock on your door tomorrow, but they will see, because there's so many stories I've seen on YouTube where they're just like, hey, this happened to me and I got that tax bill. You know. And
Because I'm not American, that's why maybe that.
it's probably because of that, because you're not taxed based on, you know, your citizenships, you know, so you probably have like the easy way out, you know, but for most Americans, like, I just, you know, besides, you know, but at the same time, like, you shouldn't be going into a country on a tourist visa and making money, you know, and regardless, so, but yeah, there's all kinds of like resources now for digital nomad lifestyle, but it is still fairly brand new, and in fact, when I met the people from Singapore, the delegates, they're just like, hey, where's yours? And Singapore is a different beast altogether. They're so strict about a lot of the regulations there that they just don't see a digital nomad visa happening, even within the next 5 years. But who knows, you know, so.
They're over abroad,
Yeah.
no more space for it.
Right, exactly. Like, even if you go to Singapore and you're just like, hey, I want to bring my car, it's a waiting list. Like, you can't just bring your car, you know, so. But I did want to cover this guy right here because this one caught my attention, and because of that, he realized like, hey, this is something that is happening for a lot of people, and he was talking about how he met a lot of people who kind of do this, and he's been traveling ever since. But he does keep his time schedule to Central Time for the U.S. So no matter where he is in the world, that's what he tries to keep focus on. But he notices his health, his mental health, physical health, is all way better than a 9-to-5 environment. Because those 9-to-5 environments are just so toxic sometimes, you know.
I would imagine you have to, because I do, like, recently I have been searching for some full-time jobs, and I noticed that companies will say, we're a digital first company, or we're a remote first company.
Right.
And I'd imagine you need to align with those, with that value system first, in order for it to streamline like this.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, for the companies who are embracing that remote lifestyle, I'm very happy that they're doing that. For those who are going the opposite direction, like, you are just, not getting what's coming, because it's like, would you want to sit in a cubicle all day?
No, I don't
You're
necessarily, I don't necessarily see it as them going the opposite direction. I see them as like sticking their head in the sand, but they'll come around.
Yeah.
Because the social tide is moving in that direction.
Right, yeah, what 6-year-old wants to work in an office environment?
Oh, for sure.
How many here saw Office Space? Come on.
But I feel like as I have seen companies who are like, listen, you come to the office, or at the very least you come to the office a couple times a day.
Right.
I feel like over the next couple of years, you're gonna see them like start dropping like flies.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
How easy it is now to start an online store, right? If you can grow that and do those kinds of things, like, where's the motivation to be like, I'm gonna spend 6 weeks doing an interview for one job, and not get paid, so.
So what was the big takeaway for you on that one?
So the big takeaway was the fact that he was able to realize, like, this is the new life for him. But it was also the fact that he started to realize like he got so used to traveling that his network for opportunities were just exploding. He would get job offers all the time from other places. When you live in other places and you start networking, like imagine like you go next week to Amsterdam and you drop in on a co-working space. You're like, hey, what are y'all doing here? What's happening here? Where did you just come from? Oh, I got in from London. I've been over there for 6 months. I'm doing this now. Like, what do you think is going to happen to your network? Like, people are going to want to really get to know you because you know more people on a global scale, right? So then your connections explode, and you're just like, hey, do you know anybody in Brazil? It's like, yeah, I have a friend over there. You should go talk to him. He does this, this, and this. If you're going to be over there, you know, you all should go meet up here. Like, you really start to show, like, hey, I know so many different things that are going on, and I'm plugged into these communities. So yeah, it does change quite a bit, but, and he just talks about how he was able to get promoted so fast. So for 10 years he'd been doing that. So he had really acquired a lot of experience doing this stuff already. So imagine you're doing this and then other companies see you doing that. You're just like, hey, I need you to come build my remote team. Like that's a valuable skill now, right? So, and now that he has this article out there, who knows how many other companies have already reached out to him and been like, hey, you know, come work for us. Yeah, so sometimes all it takes is for you to get an article on Business Insider and then everything changes, right? Or you can just write one yourself. Yeah. Where's the other one right there? So yeah. And yeah, so we covered all those things, and I always like to just cover these because, again, like I said, most people are not looking for this. But yeah. All right, old nomad humor. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. So I found this person's comics because they make fun of the nomad lifestyle. Some of them are so funny because there was one where they're just like, oh man, I'm going to Hawaii this week. Oh man, I'm going to Antigua this week. Oh man, I'm going to the Philippines this week. And then the last picture is just like they're just bored. And they're like, oh, I'm going to another island place they don't even know. And they're just like, I need a vacation for my vacation. So this one right here, where you kind of want to go. And so I found this little, where did it go? This little quiz right here, digital nomad quiz. What is your preferred living environment? Because a lot of times people are just like, I just want to go somewhere. And you don't realize like, hey, do you want to go to cold climates? Do you want to go to warm climates? Who here would love to live this lifestyle full time, but just chase only the warm season? See? You'll never ever experience winter again. You know?
That's why I'm in Austin now.
Anywhere around the equator.
I know, right? What's your ideal leisure activity? So anybody want to pick one? Dining out, dancing the night away, hiking, exploring, going to historical sites, you know, Colosseum, or relaxing on the beach, you know, something down in the Philippines, that region. Anybody?
The last one.
Last one? Okay, we'll do that one. Okay. What is your budget for living expenses? Is it between there per month? Is it 2,000, 3,000, about 3,000? Or is it?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. What's your preferred climate? Tropical warm weather, moderate but distinct, or I can adapt?
Oh, the second one.
Second one? Okay. Alright, how often do you plan to go out to social events? Frequently, weekly, monthly, rarely?
Weekly.
Alright, and what time zone do you want to be closest to? Central time or Eastern Standard?
Eastern.
US.
Yeah.
Eastern?
Yeah, US Eastern.
Alright, how important is a strong digital nomad community to you? So basically like people you can relate to right away.
Not at all.
Not at all? Okay.
No.
Moderately important?
Of
Moderately
course,
important?
like we are digital
I
nomads,
know,
we want to
right?
connect, that's the whole point.
Exactly, see? Alright, favorite type of cuisine, who likes spicy, who doesn't like spicy, healthy, comforting, or like all types?
Healthy.
Everything, yeah.
Wait, what was that?
All types.
All types, okay, I love all types. Alright, so,
paper.
got you, got you.
I would know.
Johnny John.
I know, right?
Charizard at Yahoo.
Yeah.
John Doe at AOL.
But they're gonna email.
Yeah, you're gonna email us your email.
Uh-oh. Alright, so,
Well,
Mailmaker. What?
so,
So,
where is it?
Tricks of the trade.
Oh, they turned it off.
Oh, no.
What is
if you
this?
just
Okay,
look
hold
up
on.
throwaway email, you can normally find this free.
Oh, wait, email. Let me just.
Yeah, that's what I used before, throwaway email.
Get out.
Alright,
You
here.
kids keep me young.
So it doesn't work with every website, but you can get lucky every now and then.
Yeah. Let's see if it
Oh.
lets me do it.
Cause you're so subjective.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Where was that quiz? Alright. Oh, it picked Mexico City.
that's an easy one.
Easy,
There you
okay.
Only
That's not even a picture of Mexico
That's
City.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know, I'm like, that doesn't look like Mexico City.
That is pretty funny, yes.
It's
I know,
very
right?
nice.
So that looks more like what, Malaysia, you know, some place like that, yeah. But that is pretty funny. So if we go back over here, let's look
That's a
at
cookie
the
cutter
was.
answer.
Refresh.
Nothing.
Nothing, that's
It's in our
fine.
database now,
I know, right?
forever.
It's gonna sit there and just struggle. Alrighty, so, yeah, some things to consider before moving. Can people read that? I just wanna make sure.
Yep.
Okay, good. Alright, yeah, so cost of living in the area, safety, security, things like that. So visionofhumanity.org, does anybody know about that? Vision of Humanity, basically it's like a safety, scale, for different communities around the world. That lets you know like, hey, this is their crime rates, this is what's going on here, this is how safe it is to walk at night, you know, don't go jogging at 3 a.m, which I don't know why people still do that. But, then you have your bucket list. Do you want to swim in Iceland, or would you rather be in a warm climate on the beach, you know, summer, things like that? Or do you want to hike in like Patagonia, you know? Patagonia is such a beautiful, beautiful area. Or does the size of the city or population of digital nomads matter to you? Join a digital nomad retreat. Who here knows about stuff like that? Like, I think it's Hacker Paradise and then Wi-Fi Tribes. These are big digital nomad communities that you can actually travel with. You know, if you want to join part of it, like, hey, I'm going to be coming through this region of the world. I want to see where they're going to be. Maybe I can join one of the groups for a little bit and kind of like, you know, piggyback off of what they're working on.
It's not like a paid service, right?
Let me see, because like some of them change every now and then. Why? Sorry. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, subscribe to the newsletter, how it works. So how to apply, submit an application, and
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
You have to take the Myers-Briggs test.
This is intense.
Alright, you can't just walk up and be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna join you guys. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, we're this personality type. So,
So lame, okay.
He's like, man, requirements.
It's the wrong letter.
I know, right? It's like, what, how many recommendations do I need? You know?
If you will be on some digital nomads meetings in Mexico, you will understand why. We can find so many free people, so it's good to have some tests.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Alright, so if you've been in this class before, which is a good website to use for quality of life in different areas?
Reddit.
Oh, Reddit is
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
use Reddit actually.
Everybody uses Reddit, okay? But is there another resource? Okay. Alright. Since nobody's gonna say it. Alright. So then here, like, you have all your information laid out for you. So basically, like, you can pick a city. So if I wanted to do, let's say, Seoul, I can go here, and it gives every detail that I need. So community score, cost of living, internet, access fund, temperature, quality of life score, things like that. Digital nomad guides, all this, like, it literally breaks down so much information for you, like, in detail. Cost of living, what do people like, how many remote workers. So if you decide to join Nomad List, then these are all the people that you personally will get connected to as well. So you can join their communities and be a part of it. So it's not like you walk into a city and you're like, I don't know anybody. You know, you can join their Slack, and literally say like, hey, I'm gonna be here in 2 weeks, can somebody show me around? Trust me, like, somebody will reach out to you, you know. Pros and cons of being there, so very safe, fast internet, lots of fun things to do, and yeah, democratic free speech, family friendly. It is expensive if you want to go to Seoul, you know, so, lots of pictures that people have taken recently, so, reviews.
It's definitely cheaper than here. I'm not sure what scale they're using, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Weather, trends, demographics. So again, this is just another way to sort of like rate things. And if you wanna go in and compare stuff, like if I wanna go to Cape Town, then scores are right here, and where is Cape Town, you know, it's very much a coastal place, cost of living, you know, 2,000 a month, internet. I don't know, 90 megabytes, is that fast? For Austin, I would think that's pretty slow.
And what is standard here?
What, a gig?
For gig?
Yeah.
What is that in relation to?
So you would, at 100 megabytes, you're still about, what, 900 more away from a gig?
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
so,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Is it fun? It seems pretty good, you know.
Capital factor is about 200 right now.
Oh, really?
200
Yeah,
megabytes.
Jeez, they're struggling. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, things are rough. Yeah. So, air quality, things like that, safety.
Not very
Wow,
good.
not very good, lack of crime. I don't know, does that mean there's a lack of crime or?
That's confusing.
Compare it with Philadelphia.
What is
Okay.
They don't report it.
I know, right? It's kind of oh my gosh, where is it?
Can you check Austin?
Yeah, go, it doesn't show up.
Nope.
Dang. Let's see Austin.
City of brotherly love, no.
I know, right?
Austin is there.
Yeah, see Austin's right there. Alright.
Oh, look the internet, even worse.
Oh, look at that.
74.
Really?
Wow.
They must be checking like
Well,
South Austin, they must be checking South Austin.
That's fast. It's all pretty fast. I think
Right.
it's only like slow once you get below 10 or something like that.
Yeah, I know. Then
Because
you
like
notice
Teams
when-
video call can run on much slower than that.
Oh, yeah, alright.
They tried to make it robust.
Well, sometimes all you need is a string and some tin cans.
Cost of
Right.
living, I'm not afford to be here.
So everybody, yeah, I wanna know that, like, if you were to look at this from a foreigner's perspective and you were to see that cost of living, would you like automatically say like, no, I'm not going to Austin, pretty much? Would that scare you away?
No, because I have experience finding always good deals.
Okay, alright, okay,
So I will like double check it, seeing that, but.
Right.
Yeah.
anybody else wanna say something, like community score, like, I don't know, Austin's a pretty fun place, but then again, I'm a very extroverted person, so I go to a lot of different things, you know? Safety, yeah, I would agree with safety, food safety, yeah, pretty much, yeah, you know? So education level, yeah, we have a lot of universities here, you know, power grid, when it works, when it wants to, you know?
I just think-
And then income level, I don't know, Austin's there's a lot of, well, we now have, did you see the list that just came out this week? We have 10 billionaires now in Austin, you know? And now we have the most millionaires in Texas for Austin. Which is weird, because Houston, you would think Houston would like beat us, but, you know, so, peace, apparently there's no peace here.
Oh, goodness.
So, lots of fun stuff to do, yes, you know, I would
Not
say,
safe for women.
yeah, too expensive, not safe. Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Oh, good to know.
Wow. Okay, man, anybody wanna mention, say something, you know, cost of living, anybody wanna disagree with these numbers? 1 bedroom studio rent, is that right? Or is that?
Where can you get dinner for $11?
Yeah.
Wait, where can you get a beer for $5?
Yeah.
There's 11 bucks.
Where is that? What's going on here? Is this East
Oh,
Austin?
the grease trap.
Oh, the grease,
Okay.
okay.
That matters.
Alright, a
But a beer,
Coca-Cola.
let me know.
A Coca-Cola is literally $2 here, okay? Is that true?
Maybe
You know?
depending on what you
Right, and you know, coffee and cafe, $5.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
These are pre-pandemic prices.
Hey, you should sign Dan account, go in and fix these, like, start putting your numbers, like, hey, I don't know what's going on. Cost of living for a local is that much, cost of living for somebody that's out of, you know, the country.
Where do they get those prices from? It's like people sign up thing?
I guess so, yeah, a lot of people sign in and then they go in and add their own stuff, you know? So, let's see if these match what we, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? So maybe we all need to go in and create accounts and start updating this stuff, put your own reviews, make it like today, you know?
Yeah.
All in all, Austin's a good city, we live in the hill country now, we're a bit removed, but beautiful. Not too expensive, $2,000 for, you know, not a great place if you're a recovering alcoholic. Let's remember that. And it is true, this place is blazing hot in the summer, so
Yeah.
it is so bad. But yeah, tech bros moving en masse causing housing demand to spike, and property values and rent and those all musicians are leaving. Everybody here is young, white, and has the same pedestrian reactionary opinions.
Young, white.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Young and white.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. Pros and cons, yeah, we did that. Cost of living, we covered that. How many people here? 2,800 remote workers currently. And trends. Let's see.
Oh, I actually know, that's funny.
Wow, so for this
I knew a
right
guy
here,
on the front.
24 that came in, arrivals, a month.
Are you, is this information the paid, with the paid subscription, or is this all free?
This is all free right now, so once you get the paid account, then you can go in and add your own stuff.
And add, oh, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, and remember, when you do get an account and it is paid, it is for life, it's not a monthly account. You know, so. Yeah, so 2024, about 800 arrivals a month. I would probably say that's about average, you know, because what's the number right now? A day is like 125 or 130 a day that you pay. You know, so yeah, you know, is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. So, but yeah, I mean, like, this is just a good way to realize, like, hey, this is how you can go in and start checking, like, lifestyle, culture, things like that. You know, scores over in Portugal. So, what is this? Affordability, just the same as Austin, you know, pretty much. So. But yeah, I mean, stuff like this. So again, is Reddit as intense as this? Or is it just somebody's comment? And it just be like, I hate this place and there's too much beer, you know?
I usually look at take a sample and
And
read
either-
through several comments and then see if there's like a trend, and then I
And then you turn it into MATLAB and then do your own house.
just do it in my head. But yeah. But yeah, usually if several people are saying the same thing, then you're like, okay, that's a trend, so it's probably accurate.
Okay, yeah.
This is good, but I always check like the YouTube videos from every place.
Sure. Well, this one's a little more current, 6 months ago. So, I mean, like, Portugal and Spain do have another big digital nomad community. I mean, they're very, very welcoming to digital nomads in Spain. You know, there's a big infrastructure already built out there. So, I can totally understand why they would say stuff like that. This, yeah. And then if you're tired from the 9-to-5 grind, who isn't, you know, so. But yeah. So any questions about this? I mean, like, there are so many other, like, different community environments, but I just like showing these things because so many times, like, people forget, like, there are so many digital nomad, like, sources now that are out there. And when you start to realize, like, hey, you can go in and join these communities, like digital nomad Slack groups. And then if you go in here, like, you can go and see some of the best ones they offer. So there's the first one. I think it's, yeah, where is that? Yeah, we work remotely. So this one right here, 3 million members, largest remote working community in the world. You can join their Slack community. Nomad Talks, so another fast growing community. So imagine, like, just having it on your phone, all these different people in these different groups that you can join and talk to them and be like, hey, what is it like in that city? I was thinking about going there next week for 6 months. You know, what do I need to have? What should I bring? You know, things like that. Or like, hey, can I do a Zoom call with you? And guess what? They are very open to that. Like, that's the best part, you know, because digital nomad communities is still growing, but it's gonna be the thing in the next 5-10 years where, like, everybody's that. Like, if you're still working in a cubicle in 5 to 10 years, like, college really messed you up. You know, so, yeah. But again, Nomad List is on there as well because they have a paid group as well, and then remotely one. So again, there's no lack of, like, community out there, and that's the idea. You know, so I'm hoping, like, if you take away anything from tonight from, like, cultural differences, like, guess what? There's somebody out there who wants to know just as much about what you want to know about their culture as they want to know about yours. And you can easily have those Zoom sessions and be like, hey, what do I need to prepare? You know, and if you know you're about to go there, like, talk to them, learn their language. Who here has seen that video that Tim Ferriss did on YouTube about, let me see. learn any.
Wow.
Yeah, so Tim Ferriss did a whole video on this, like how to learn a new language real fast, and basically like, here's how to do it in 1 hour. So what do you think he actually covered? Like it's a real simple concept, it's just like learn your basic phrases, you know, how to get around, food, you know, bathroom, things like that. And then understand like simple like linguistic mechanics. You know, how do most words get formed in that language, and just work off of that structure, you know. If you're, what do they call it, a polyglot or something, or polymath? Is it polymath or polyglot? Yeah. You know, if you're not a polyglot, then picking up languages is going to be difficult, but you can pick up the phonetics pretty fast, you know. And if you didn't, even if you cannot respond back, at least you can comprehend, like yes, and then take out your Google Translate or whatever you want to use. And then even in the meantime, you can always just like sit on like Duolingo and just do like practice lessons, you know.
Singing is good.
Yes,
Like
there you go.
the lyrics, just
Yeah.
singing along with translation.
So on that note, yes, we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna go to do this right here. Like, so this is something that adapting to new cultures. And one of the things that I noticed was listen to local radio stations. Like, that just helps. Because you're not gonna understand, but it's going to get your brain working and getting used to those things. Do you know what I actually like to do? Because I'm a big movie person, I love watching a lot of Italian movies. And I love watching a lot of like French films and things like that, a lot of European films. Especially like Korean movies, Japanese, Chinese movies. And I watch a lot of them without subtitles on, just to get used to the whole thing. So by the time I'm like watching like my 5th, 6th thing, I can pretty much understand what they're saying. Like I can get the dialogue. Like it's not just what they're saying, but their body language, all those things. So there's so many things that help you dealing with like different cultures. And sometimes when I watch so many like French movies, I'm just like, well, I think I'm ready for French. I can just move to Paris now, you know. Then you get there and you're just like, I don't know a thing about it. Yes. So, but in this right here, there was something I want to point out to you, and that is, where did it go? Okay, culture curve, yeah, cultural shock curve. Everybody experiences this. You're not going to get out of it. And on average, it's going to take you between like 7 and 9 months to really get used to a different culture. Okay, so just realize that. Like, and as a digital nomad, like you realize you're going for a long period of time. Like this is not a 2-week thing, a 1-month thing. So this is the average that most digital nomads experience. And what do you think culture shock really is about? Damn, I don't know what I'm doing here. That's
Yeah,
really what
I'm surprised
you know.
that the honeymoon is first one, because I start always with cultural shock, and then I have
Really? Like you're not like
adjustment, adaptation, and the honeymoon is actually when I'm about to leave. I'm like,
Right.
oh, I have all my friends,
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
where
yeah.
to go, I know the
Right.
best spots, you
Uh-huh.
know, I'm invited to the best parties, and I'm like, okay, right.
But isn't that the same for college? It's like just when you're figuring out college, it's already time to graduate. You know? But yeah, so it's like you can get into a city. It's like, let's say you moved to Tokyo for the first time, okay? And you're like, oh my gosh, so beautiful, so amazing. Like there's these green grasses and there's these places and this tall spiral thing. You're having all this fun, and then you realize like I can't talk to anybody. I'm by myself. Like nobody understands me. Like why do they keep asking me to put my trash away? You know. So it's all these different things, and then you get into your adjustment phase. You're like, okay, I have a routine. I've made some friends. I know what's going on. I can sort of have a conversation, and now you've adapted. So then what ends up happening? Does anybody know what happens after this?
Get bored.
So what happens? So what do you get after acceptance? You get reverse cultural shock. Now when you go back home, you're like, this feels weird. Like, what are you people doing? You're like, you eat hamburgers every day, you know. And that's what ends up happening, is you get so used to different cultures that you come back home and you're just like, oh, I can never do that anymore.
Never go back home.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Nomad, you don't have home.
well, yeah, that's true. You really don't have a home as a digital nomad. You know, I've met a lot of people who are just like, but I still have a house and I still do this. Unless you're like into real estate investing, like your home is everywhere.
Yes.
Pretty much. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Because you have so much community. Once you have so much community, then guess what? You're just like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go off to Seoul. I'm gonna go hang out with some friends. I'm gonna go stay with them for 2-3 weeks, and then I will see where it goes from there. You know, and depending on your client workload, It may be that some people want to meet with you somewhere else. You're like, great, I will go do some meetings over there, and then if I have a break for 2-3 weeks, I will go do something else. That's the lifestyle. You know, for some people, getting to that level is like the dream. You know, for other people, they're just like, what the hell am I doing in Tokyo? Like, go eat some good food, you know? Go hang out. Enjoy with the Japanese. So read local newspapers, and then one of the things I've learned from a lot of the people who've been doing this for a while is read their stuff and then circle words you don't know, and then find out what is it. You know, go look up the dictionary, ask ChatGPT, whatever, and get used to that kind of stuff. Because you want to get into that boring routine that we all have right now in Austin, because we're so used to being here, and that is you wake up, I gotta go to work, I have doctor's appointments, I need to go, get my eyes checked, I gotta go to the grocery store. Once you get into that routine, you're just like, now you become sort of a local. And you're like, now I can deal with this.
That's what, whenever I was learning Portuguese, whenever I was on airplanes, I would pick up, the magazines in airplanes. I would pick them out and then find an article that I really liked, and everything was in Portuguese. So I just read through, and any words that I didn't recognize, I would circle or I'd highlight it. Same thing in airports, find a magazine that you really like about a particular topic you like, and if it's in another language, pick it up.
Right.
That's what I do.
Absolutely, yeah. And that helps a lot, So that's why hanging out with other digital nomads will get you used to that lifestyle. You're just gonna learn from them, how long have you been here? And then you'll find out some of them are still there for 2 more years. And they're like, yeah, I'm doing 2 years, and then I have my next route planned out for this way. And then there's just a new way of adjusting, and that helps a lot. Because they're doing the same thing as you, and they may show you other simple things that only locals know about, so. And again, ordering a simple pizza when you get to a new place will become so impossible. You're just like, why can you not bring me the right thing? Why does he keep bringing me this? Alright, so here's where it's asking Europeans how to spot an American. So before we get into this part, what makes an American stand out so much? Anybody? Yeah, she knows. She knows. Okay.
Shorts, Crocs.
Oh, Crocs. Okay, all right. Anything else before I show you the list?
Big water
Big,
cups.
white, and young.
He said big water. And the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, Stanley Cup.
Oh my gosh. Anything else? What are Americans so good at doing that just bothers so many Europeans? Talking loudly. What else? How's your day going? Are you okay? Europeans don't do that.
Talk, yeah.
Europeans.
What do you work for?
Yeah,
You do in government, yeah.
How much money do you make?
Yeah, yeah.
Where did it go? Because
Cargo
this was-
shorts.
Cargo. Oh my gosh, yes.
This is Polish thing, the socks.
I think it's. There was one. How to spot a European, and let me make sure I find the right one because there was one. Yes. Okay, I think it's.
I have the same shorts, but.
Oh my god. They're loud.
But
Okay.
it's
Yes.
your
Americans.
official nomad.
Yes, and turns around, please calm down, I guess American volume is going to speak louder. They stand at the entrance of a restaurant waiting to be seated.
It's true.
So, they're like, what are you doing? They ask, how are you? Don't do that in Switzerland. They will get so mad at you. Yes, they smile. It's another funny comment that I saw? Americans have straight teeth. And they're white, That's how you can tell. They get confused when they're Polish.
The American smile,
Yeah,
It's
exactly, yeah.
famous from that.
They ask where the restroom is. Anything about the restrooms in Europe? Anything that bothers you? Yes.
Having to put a coin in something. to turn the light on.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
And then wait, say that again?
Having to put a coin in some sort of receptacle to turn the light on.
Oh.
I think I was in Sweden for that.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, it's so bad with that over there.
Because it's I don't carry cash or change, so then you gotta engineer a way to procure that.
Right, yeah.
In a time sensitive situation.
Oh, yeah. And we tip.
Oh yeah.
We have such a bad system about that. We tip for everything, even when they're not there. So they wear sneakers. So, they put a light on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. And they take their shoes off at airports. Yeah. So, what is the other one right here? European, how do you spot American tourists? So, again, we'll just do this only one, because I know some of them are long, but, I'll let you kind of go through this real quick.
Yeah, the entitlement piece.
Mm-hmm, yes, exactly, yeah.
I have noticed people speaking louder in English, I think that would help. It didn't help.
Oh my gosh, and their response at the bottom right there, sounds like an authentic American.
A lot of countries are loud, I think.
And by more louder than Americans?
Yeah, like Latin America, I think. Yeah. My kids used to go like this. They get to the airport, and like a week later, they're shouting like everybody else. So, maybe we don't shout at home. He does.
You'll hear it.
But yeah, I mean, like, that's one of the things where, our culture as Americans, we're just taught to be like, you know, you stick out and you get the attention, and then what is it the opposite of? Where is it? You know, I think it's Japan, where like you're meant to be part of a group, the crowd, like you don't stick out, you know. And that's why, like, over there, everything is so quiet, pristine, they're very in order, you know, you don't come in and you're loud and you're just like, why am I not seated yet? You know, where do I tip? Yeah. So. Any other comments on that? I know culture is one of those things where, like, unless you go there, like, it's also kind of hard to experience it unless you've never been, but, yeah, I mean, like, I found a lot of these because it's something that just always keeps popping up in Reddit forums, forum forums, like things like this on BuzzFeed. And Americans have, again, like that mentality, they go out right into the world, they go on vacation for 2 weeks, they do their American thing, they're very loud, they're in the way, and then they come back home, you know. And if we've all seen National Lampoon's European Vacation, you watch the whole movie and you're just like, wow, these Americans are just so obnoxious and loud, and they just get into everything. And half the time they're just like, who are these people, and why are they here, you know? But they spend so much money, so that's the other thing. You know? But when you start to embrace the lifestyle as a digital nomad, then you realize, like, you have to start adjusting. You have to really start to adjust to those different ways. And that brings me over to like health and safety. And that's why I said, like, how to learn any language in 1 hour. That's just a great thing to know. There's also another guy, he wrote a book, How to Learn Anything. Yeah, there it is. So this guy, I read this book a long time ago. And let me see. I'm going to go through. I don't think it likes it. Yeah, so he did a TED Talk a long time ago when he wrote the book, and how to learn anything. And it's a really thick book, but he gives you all kinds of tips and tricks for learning anything. He also was the one that wrote the book. I think it's let me see, Josh. Where is it? He also did, yeah, the first one would be it. Yeah, so that one I read as well. So he wrote that book, so the first 20 hours and then the first one MBA. And he did TED Talks and all these right here. So if you're going to be going out and doing these kinds of things, then knowing how to learn things like real quick and adjust helps you tremendously in those environments. So, and if you've never read them, please do. They're amazing books. But another way to really get part of the culture, if you look on line 3 right here, Nomads Giving Back, I covered this in networking. Like, join one of those groups. Like, just go and like give your time back to a community. Like, if you join one of these, like, I don't know if you know how it works, but let me show you. You can go in here and basically like join a community and say, I will go over here for free housing and I will teach your community this. And then they provide the support of the local community, your housing, all that stuff, probably even food. And in return you get to teach their community something. You know? So you help to inspire, and guess what? They bring the class to you. So you're not having to go out and build that class. You can go out and be like, hey, I'm gonna show you how to do this, and you don't have to worry about doing your own marketing. They take care of all that for you. So again, that gets you part of that cultural environment. So if you've always wanted to explore Africa, and you don't know a single person in Africa, this is probably the best way to get started, and sign up for their programs, and be like, hey, whoever wants me to come teach whatever it is I'm good at, an expert in, you know, let me know, and just sign up for their list. So when they're looking for that, they will reach out to you, you know. So who here has a skill they would like to share that's unique? Anybody? Like, nobody knows how to speak whale language? Nobody? Oh, man.
Speak what?
Whale language? I can talk to it. So I would say just, you know, check it out if you've never heard of this. And again, the other one that I mentioned before, this was from the last one. Y'all remember this one? So basically the idea is you go work on an organic farm, and they will provide you housing, food, all that stuff, and it's free. And you can pick wherever you want to go in the world. It's a farm you're gonna live on, and in return you help them with whatever they need on the farm. You know, for free, you know? So they've been doing it for over 50 years, and you can participate in their daily life. And when you're not working, guess what? You know all these locals you've been working with, and like, hey, show me around. Like, let's go do something. Great, cool. If you can speak my language, let's go. You know? If anything, they'll show you how to get drunk. You know? So, but who here has ever experienced something like that? Done anything like that? Yeah. You've joined this?
No, but I did, an overnight subsistence farming thing in Korea once.
Okay.
We harvested, buckwheat and pears, big, Asian pears, yeah.
Okay, cool. Alright, is it? Yeah, there you go. There we go. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you can go in here, like, who wants to go to Hawaii for free? Like, let's go work on a farm, right?
Did they fly you there? No.
No, you pay for all that stuff, but you have housing and all that stuff taken care of, okay? They will pick you up from the airport, they do all that stuff, you come. So, my first time working on that farm, what was it like? 10 tips. Advice, terrible farm, I stayed in Hawaii, and workaways, my workaway experience, lessons I've learned, and yeah, so I would probably say just, you know, check it out, and even if you want to go further with what we talked about, like, experiencing. Yeah, there you go. So read some of those kinds of things, like experiencing culture shock in Estonia. That was 11 months ago. Asking digital nomads what they do for a living. The digital nomad dream is dead, and this is replacing it. That was 3 months ago. Oh, he loves to always stir up things like that. Even though he is a digital nomad. That's ironic part. This one, yeah, 10 months ago.
Who's this guy? Who's the shit stirrer?
Oh, where is he? Stefan? Yeah, so he makes a lot of different videos about the 9 to 5, escaping the 9 to 5, your dream. And it's funny that he would say that, even though like that's his lifestyle. You know, he's
He's just trying to make content.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just trying to make content. Asking digital nomads how they make money, things like that. But he travels all over. And if you've ever seen the people who do these videos, like what? Yeah, there he goes, yeah. So he does a lot of these kinds of videos, like, what can $100 get you in London?
Oh, whatever, walking across the bridge, you pay $100.
So I am so.
And yeah, I stayed at the best hotels. I traveled 10,000 miles to Australia. But he did a lot of those kinds of videos a long time ago. What can $100 get you in Tokyo? 72 hours, the hidden gems, and Iceland. So he got really, really good at viral marketing, doing those kinds of video titles. Because again, people are curious to see like, hey, what can you actually do with that? You know? And if I change it, what can $100? Yeah, see how many things pop up?
Are these all from them?
No, these are all over. Like, this is how popular those titles of videos became. So you just pick a city, so if I do the Philippines, then you're gonna start to see like other people are doing the same thing as well. So they captured on that stuff. And what can $10 get you in the Philippines? How much can $1 get you in the Philippines? So they've learned how to sort of hack these things, and if you look at their numbers, that one's 1 million, this one right here is 1 million, this one here is 1 million, this is 3 million, 4 million, more, almost 10 million here. So again, there's a strategy behind all these titles, and that's why they do them. You know, so once you get into that aspect, then you realize like, oh, I just need to capitalize on like viral titles, and then I can pay my bills. Because if you look at like this video right here, which if you've never watched the Best Food Review Show, they're so funny. 10 million views on that video alone means that 1 year ago, he's still making money on that video. Okay, so he still makes a lot of money on that video. There's one video he did where he took American candy into remote African villages. And the kids love the candy, right? All the kids love it, but the adults are so angry. They're like, why are you eating all this plastic? Why are you doing all this stuff? And the kids are like, give me more, you know? And it's just so funny. But it just shows you like the differences in culture. American candy, best food review show. But look at his titles. Look at his titles. Look at how capturing that is. That's a viral looking video. Look how many views it got. So if you look at the view count on that video alone, he's made 6 figures off of that video, if not more, you know? And it's still making money to this day. And how old is that video? 2 years old, you know? But if you look further, how many other people have been trying this, you know? So yeah. But anyhow, it's really funny because he shows them that. And they get so mad because they literally think he's giving them plastic. But the kids love it. They grab it right away. See her response. So, see, now you want to watch the video, don't you? See. But yeah, I mean, like that's why I enjoy watching these things, because you see a different aspect to like cultural differences. Yesterday we had another one of let me see. There it is. Yes, this is the one right here. Would you accept a knock on the door from a stranger to be like, hey, we're going to fly around the world? Who would do that? Yes, thank you.
100%.
Okay. So this guy right here, I'm not going to click on it, but this guy right here had sort of lost a family member recently. And they just happened to knock on his front door, and that was the best thing that happened to him. And he was the only one out of all the people they knocked on their doors who said yes. And in fact, it was their family who pushed him to be like, no, you need this trip, go. And if he said yes, they were going to go straight to the airport and take off to the first place. The thing was, they weren't going to tell him where they were going until they got on the plane, and then they told him the location where they were.
That would be even more exciting.
See?
I would love that.
So at the very end of the video, they give him a GoPro, and they said, here, we're going to leave you here, we're going to come back, and we're going to take whatever GoPro video you make, and that's what we're going to post. And the last video is just really like, whew, it really gets at your heartstrings, you know, because he realizes like, wow, there's a world out there. And it has so much cultural differences. And he met people he would have never experienced if he had said no at that door, you know. So again, that video made, 3 million views. and it's probably still getting more to this day. But yeah, I mean, like, it was one of those things where they just do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Amazing that you should just leave me here tonight.
So yeah, that's where he ends up in Tanzania at the very end. But that was the preview of the video, and they show you from the beginning, like, how did he go from there to, you know, basically the UK. So, but again, they do some crazy videos on level of traveling that most people just wish you could try. But yeah, one of my favorites was, where is it? I cannot find it. So I don't know if you know, oh, there it is. Did you gather this?
Perched at the top of a treacherous peak, deep in the mountains of Washington state, with only an abandoned trail to reach it, lies a cabin defying the laws of physics. The loneliest cabin in the world. Having survived.
Okay, yeah. So this little cabin, if you can go visit it yourself. Okay, there's nobody stopping you. It's literally perched on the top of that mountain, and when you get into that cabin, it has a library, it has furniture, it has all kinds of stuff. And these guys go and stay there for a full weekend to see what it was like. And it took a lot of work to get there. So when you get up there, you're just like, how the hell did anybody get any of this stuff built up there? Because this house was built back in the 1920s or 1930s. And it was a postal outlook center at the time, you know. So, but yeah, I love their videos because they really show like a lot of different ways of traveling. And it even says right there, please do not try this yourself. Several sections are very dangerous, and they have, you know, professional help. But yeah, I mean, like, it's not like it's off limits because anybody can really go, but it is dangerous, you know. But please watch the video because it is very interesting, because the way they travel is just very unique, because they're all about like learning cultures in a very different way. So, any questions so far, comments? I mean, I love the feedback that I've gotten so far from everybody, like your stories, your things that you've experienced as well. So with that, I will point out, like, if you do go, make sure to map out like where all your hospitals are, your clinics. Like, that's super important to have. Like, just have a map. You have no idea when something's gonna go wrong. And one of the things I've learned from myself and other people is, you're probably gonna get food poisoning at some point, you know? So just know where all these things are, so you're not like on your deathbed, you're just like, the hospital is just a block away, you know? So, always use a VPN. You have no idea what could happen. And make sure you have theft-proof bags. Does anybody know what a Faraday bag is? It's probably a super important thing to have, but a Faraday bag is something that protects your cards, all your credit cards from getting swiped. So you can take a credit card swiping wand, and I can just wave it in the air and grab all your credit card information because it's all giving off signals. So a Faraday bag blocks all those signals through the cards. That's what it does. So if I go over here.
You can have one, something like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, yeah.
It's like an RF.
Yeah, it's an RF blocker, you know. So
I think most wallets these days.
I hope so, you know, because it's becoming such a prevalent issue. There was somebody, remember James, when he was out, somebody had stolen his credit card and swiped it, and he had to go and cancel. Really? Yeah. So, but he had the card on him, you know, so they had grabbed the signal. So, but yeah, so you can go in and you know, get something like that, and then also. So there's all kinds of little like things you can have just to keep people from like swiping things, pickpocketers, things like that. So theft-proof bags, I would recommend if you're going to travel. And then I don't know if you know this, but travel buddies are really good. So again, there's all kinds of communities that I've shown you as well. But there's a website called Be a Travel Buddy. So for people who are coming into this, like let's say Austin, and they're looking for a travel buddy, why don't you sign up and be that local guy for them, you know? And get them used to the culture. So
Couchsurfing has also some.
yes, that is a charge. You have to pay for that.
Really?
Couchsurfing, yes, that is, you have to pay for that now.
Maybe no, I don't know.
Yeah, so then if I go to be a travel buddy, and then you can go in here and yeah, so travel buddy in India, and you can look for your communities, listings, locals, but
But you know what,
oh,
those
there,
things
oh,
are
oh, man, I'm sorry.
totally different from a perspective of women.
Yes.
Sorry to say that. You know, me thinking about travel buddies a random dude from internet, no thank you.
Right, yes. So on that note, hold on, let me see, women, I think it's this one, let's see. I think it's that one, Digital Nomad Girls, yeah, community, so she founded for independent women who start their own businesses and are digital nomads that want to connect with other women. And so you can join their circles, like wherever they're located around the world, and their groups, and you can reach out to them and be like, hey, I'm gonna be coming in, can somebody show me around? Yes. So yes, there is a community for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so. And then female digital nomads as well, so, yep. But yeah, there are so many other ones, and the one I also showed you was free walking tours. Yeah. Oh, there's this one right here, international breeders. And you can sign up to do this, be a breeder, and basically you can go in and show people around, and it's free. So if you're somebody going to a different city, like this is also helpful, but for somebody coming into Austin, like sign up to be their breeder. And then that helps you connect, because again, imagine going on a walk, showing them like Zoltan Park, the Greenbelt, getting to know them, and then guess what? They're like, why don't you come to my city and I'll do the same thing for you? You know? So on that note, I have some books to show you. So one of the first ones I'm gonna start off with is, y'all know Lonely Planet? I mean, like everybody here should know Lonely Planet. So they made a book that was basically like therapy travel. So this one's really nice and says like, hey, whatever you're dealing with, we're gonna show you locations around the world to help you deal with that. And so, I mean, amazing stuff like culture, food, cuisines, things like that. Different places, like they even map out routes for you to go on, if whatever you're dealing with. And then that's really helps you connect. I found this book, it's been really amazing, so I'm gonna pass it around if you wanna write it down, things like that.
Have you gone on any of those trips?
I have some of them on my bucket list, yes, because there's so many. In fact, I'm very much a travel guy who wants to do all the big train rides in the world. So I love train rides, and I will show you some of them in a minute, but there are so many in Japan that I want to do. But there's also the Ganges, which goes through Australia, but there's one from London to the tip of Italy that I really want to do. But I want to do the best one, which is like $35,000 a ticket. And then there's this one right here, you only live once. There's another way to like travel and to get the most out of this. So they say like, your life is very limited, you know, go on like amazing experiences. And they show you not only like where to go, but also like communities to join in the book. So they give you resources, people's names, cafes, communities, of who to connect with. And then I brought this one at the beginning, but that is flee your 9 to 5. So if you're really trying to do it, this gives you a basically detailed guideline of like, this is how to do it, you know. So the last one, I'm gonna actually bring up this whole thing. Alright, so this guy right here, he gets paid to do nothing. In fact, he did so much of nothing that he wrote a book about nothing. And so he wanted to detail like what that experience was like, going from being told that he was completely worthless at his job to quitting to now becoming one of the most sought after people in Japan to help people do nothing. So his job actually is to help people, this is part of cultural differences. So in Japan, one of the things that they pride the most in is companionship. And that's actually what he provides. So he has been hired by many, many people to provide companionship for people who have lost a loved one. And they just need somebody to go with them to the funeral so they're not alone. And he just sits with them. Other people hire him to go on lunch dates so they're not alone, but he just sits there and provides the companionship. You know? So he wrote a book about that whole experience of how he started doing that work. In fact, he's so busy, he has just a waiting list all the time. And if you were to ask what his hourly rate is, in American dollars, it's about $150 an hour. And he has a massive waiting list. So.
They pay for lunch?
They pay for everything. They pay for everything. And when you watch his videos, like, there's one right here where, like, in this image, he goes with that man to mourn the loss of a family member that just passed. And he's there to provide comfort, you know. But he doesn't talk, he doesn't do anything, he's just there as a companion. You know, he's even gone with people, when they're about to break up with a loved one, just to be there, so they're not alone, you know.
What does this have in common with digital?
So the idea is like cultural differences, and understanding like over there, like he started his own business, and because he does that all over Japan, people come in and guess what people have tried to do? Replicate that elsewhere. So a lot of Americans have tried doing that here. Does it work?
Yeah, I've heard about this all the
Some,
time.
some people might go for it. For most people, it's gonna be creepy.
Yes.
Random friends. Here I am.
There it is. And so, you can rent a friend to go on travel, hot air balloons, comedy clubs, going to the bar, playing video games, sightseeing, do-it-yourself project, family functions, prom dates, weddings.
Do they have reviews? I feel like I'd wanna review the place.
So there are reviews, so let's find out from here. I'm gonna do the profile. And we can go in here and you can see once you sign up, then it gives all the information. What is she, known for? She can help you with teaching manners, workout partner, pottery, going to the park, personal advice, dinner, clubbing, and then it gives that information right there. Yeah, that's a real thing.
So do they just set their rate? Like
They
an
do
hourly
set their rates,
rate?
yes.
Okay.
They set their rates, and once you sign up, you do see what their rate is. And some of them are $50 an hour, some of them are $100 an hour. There's one guy I saw in here one time, he basically jams out with you. So he's a musician, and if you want to learn music, he will help you. If you just want another person to play music with, he will be there to do that.
So how is this different from sugarbaby.com?
This has no sexual intentions at the end.
It's sort of a body type.
Does it really say body type?
Yeah.
Very tough, yeah, with a full figure, yeah.
So it's the same thing, yeah.
Interesting.
Just
So
in case
let's
that's your.
let's try this, and let's see what happens. Let's see what's going on in Austin, okay? Alright, there you go. 35, they're named non-binary nerd. I've lived 100 years, I get it, believe me, I understand. There's another one, 25 years old, I'm fun, energetic music, love me guy. Click here to view their profile. There's 51, 27, 36, 37, 55. So you have a good, wide range of people, 28, 61. So if you're looking for anybody to hang out with and you want to pay them, it's all right there as a business.
I think Bumble has like Bumble BFF.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do, yeah.
And you don't need to pay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't need that.
So there's all kinds of things out there, and there's different ways. So again, as a digital nomad, what is your job? Your job is either you created your own job, right? Or you're looking for gig work to support your lifestyle around the world. So sites like this help pay those bills, And I always mention to people when you travel, if you're working for someone else, you're picking up a lot of gig work all the time. And you're looking for anything that'll pay the bills. And for some people, I've actually met people who, they only do bartending. So when they, as soon as they get to a city they're gonna be in for a while, they go straight to all the bars and they sign up right away. You know, so they have their licenses, they have all those things, and then that's what they do. So, pays the bill, you know. Any comments or things like that? But, oh yeah, that was the other thing I was gonna show you.
How does that affect, that you're supposed to pay yourself?
Oh, you mean the taxes?
I mean, if you work on as bartending.
I mean, like, if you're an American and you go to, let's say, London, you're gonna pay your taxes. You know, so if you open a bank account over there, then when you do your taxes, it's gonna ask you what? Did you open a foreign bank account? Yes, you did. And, you know, how much did you earn? You have to report that, and then you still pay your taxes through that. And then whatever taxes, the UK requires.
But I thought the visa was that you get paid from a foreign country. If you're on the digital nomad.
If you apply for one, but again, you're American, so you're still taxed on your citizenship. So regardless of where you go in the world, you're taxed. Like you can go to Antarctica, you're gonna be taxed.
No, what I'm saying, if you get paid in London because you are bartending, it's not that against the visa?
So does that qualify, if you go to a particular country on a digital nomad visa,
Yeah.
can you work in a bar because does that fall into the stipulations of being a digital nomad? Cause you're technically making money on, like not digitally, but actually in an institution there.
Right. But because you're still earning income,
Hmm.
regardless, you still have to pay American taxes.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
No, if it's legal.
Whether you're allowed to do that is gonna be based on each country's own digital nomad
Oh,
visa.
yeah,
Some
yeah,
countries
yeah,
may
yeah.
allow it, some might not. Some could
Hmm.
have a threshold of how much you can make in a certain period of time.
Okay.
When I was in Korea, some people had, tourist visas as well as a job seeker's visa. And you couldn't earn money on either of those, but if you had a student visa, you could work up to 20 hours a week. And if during those 20 hours a week you made $5,000 modeling, that was okay.
Yeah.
But tourist visa, job seekers, you couldn't earn. But that was just Korea, so every country's gonna be different.
Right, yeah.
So modeling would be similar to the working in a bar, it would be like you could
Freelancing.
make
Freelance,
money,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Hmm.
I would just, again, before you leave, just, you know, talk to a tax advisor
Hmm.
and then go through those things. But again, you can also get those online, you know, so that way you can ask them questions.
Nomad capitalist.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. If you've never read the book, please go read Nomad Capitalist. You know, he put out that book a while ago. But he has a blog, he has a YouTube channel, and he does update that quite a bit if you're interested in that stuff.
Is that how you got your citizenship with Italy?
No, it was really random. Actually, it was through my great-grandfather.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that, well, every European country or every country that offers this kind of thing, they're gonna have varying degrees of how welcoming or relaxed they're gonna be with that. So it turns out that Italy, we were just talking about what's going on, and, yeah, so they want more people to come back, especially if they went to the United States, they had a couple generations here to make money, so it was easier for me to get there. Whereas I actually have Polish ancestry too, and they made it very, very hard to try. I'd have to like learn Polish and interview and all this other stuff. So I just
Welcome to Poland, I'm
Yeah.
Polish.
Right, yeah. So I went with the path of least resistance.
Well, the reason why I ask is I did go on the Nomad Capitalist website, and they do have that citizenship, like looking at the other citizenship options.
Yeah.
And it does say like through ancestry, and you can like, there's a drop down menu and you
Yeah.
can like fill in information, so I wonder if that's how you do it.
Yeah, interestingly, back in like 2011, I looked into it and I determined that, oh, I'm not eligible. And then one day in 2018, a buddy tipped me off he was living in Ireland at the time and sent me a message. And I saw, that night I saw a commercial for Ancestry.com. And I said, oh, I'll sign in and see what I could find, free trial. And within 45 minutes, I found out I was actually eligible the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah, random. And so it became a pandemic project for me.
Through Ancestry.com.
Yeah, I just found like a receipt document there. Basically, with Italy is your ancestor had to have a child here that you're related to before they became an American citizen.
Okay, gotcha.
And then it passes down by blood, and every country will be different.
Okay.
How they handle it.
But you're not losing anything with Polish.
No,
Okay,
no, really.
no worries.
But I like the emblem. It's cool.
Okay.
So the last thing I'll cover here is, this is Trek Trendy, so because he does a lot of luxurious travel, I pay attention to his like train rides. there's a lot that I've written down that I want to explore, but yeah, this is the one that he went on. In American dollars, it would be like $35,000 for a one-way ticket. And he has everything, I'm at the top of the line, but because he does this so frequently, he actually works with an agency that gets you like almost 60-70% off, if you go through their agencies and do this kind of stuff. But he has a room, he has a living room, shower, personal valet, food anytime he wants it, all meals provided, things like that. And it is a gorgeous ride. Another one is train rides.
This is Venice to Beijing, yeah?
This is London to Italy.
London to Italy.
Yeah, actually that one. Yeah, solo travel. This guy right here, he's like one of my favorite, and he's made quite a bit of videos where he goes all around on train rides around the world. 3-day food trip on Japan's luxurious compartment train, and then riding the world's most beautiful snow train. So he does a lot of different things like the sleeper capsules, the hotels. He does this one, the Hello Kitty bullet train, and then riding Japan's $36 first class vending machine train, and then one that looks like an old style, like, compartment train. But he does so much of this stuff, and people love his videos. And if you notice the view counts on a lot of them, this is big business because you're just enjoying the experience. You may never get to be there, but guess what? He provided it to you. He doesn't really put his face. In fact, he doesn't really talk much in the video at all. He'll put captions, but it just shows you like how easy it is to like push out a travel video.
He doesn't commentary in it at all, and he gets almost 2 million views.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean he'll put like subtitles every now and then for like ideas and thoughts, but most of the time it is just a very well edited video. He did Canada's overnight train, which pretty much goes all the way from one side of the coast to the other, and he did that whole thing. And it was a beautiful train ride. I've watched pretty much almost all his videos. The cheapest overnight train and the vending machine. So yeah, there's so many different train rides in Japan that I would love to experience. But yeah, some of these trains go so fast, so like you're on there for like literally like 10-15 minutes, and then it's time to go. And you're like, I'm already there. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. So I'm going to be looking into extending the program. The next time will be about how to prevent burnout, and success tips for your travels, things like that. So hopefully I get to see you next time. So if you are going to join us, we're going to go to Cider Cave over there on Riverside, which is Congress Riverside. Just take a left, go down, walk in, and then free admission.
Parking's normally pretty bad, so it might be good to ride share over there.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna be today.
Right, I'm sure there's so many people just doing the taxi right now. So,
Good luck to them.
I know, right? Oh, and last thing, you want to connect? There's my info. And I did have one last one. Sorry. This is the Bible that was written, the Digital Nomad Lifestyle book. So if you want to check it out, Kristen provides so many great resources. She has been doing this for a very long time, and I will also, if you already have this, then I will put up and this is the person.
Have been to a lot of.
Yes, she has been pretty much everywhere. In fact, she has pretty much been everywhere and knows almost every single country's cultural, lifestyle, locals, and everything that you can imagine, and has interviewed so many people who have done this. And this is what she does. So every time she puts on a meetup, literally like 200-300 people show up on average. She can literally go to any city in the world and be like, hey, I'm going to be here, who wants to join me? And hundreds of people will show up. So, any questions, comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to plug 2 things in.
Sure.
We're very lucky here at, for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons that is overlooked a lot is we have access to a credit infrastructure here that most of the world does not get access to.
Did you need it? Okay, sorry.
And so basically, if you have a reasonable job or income here, you can, work on your credit score and get all these different credit cards and travel perks, and you utilize miles to, snipe basically like arbitrage deals for what otherwise could be expensive flights at that time. So I know there was a thing that came out with Hawaii, especially if you're in this part of the country, flights to Hawaii could actually be relatively cheap if you find a good deal, even if you're flexible timing, but, United one-ways can be very inexpensive with miles. And then there's like city points can convert to United, as well as Capital One, I think, and Chase.
Right.
And yeah, it can start to get kind of funky. So like if you apply for like a couple, I was looking at one thing, and if I apply to like a couple credit cards this year, meet the spending requirement, I could fly like 20 one-way trips to and from Hawaii and the mainland just for that for free, kind of thing. So that's a whole other realm that I've been dabbling in that for about 12 years as like a hobby. Yeah, also.
Yeah, if you wanna learn the point hacking system, that's the one to talk to.
I wrote a little guide on it, so I'm happy to share.
You wrote a book, what did you say?
Just a guide, it's a little, a little Google Doc.
Yes.
I also wrote a little Google Doc for the Italian citizenship, if anybody's got Italian ancestry.
Oh, there you go. And then I had this made a long time ago for this project.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this, because all you need is a what? A laptop and a what? A phone to be a digital nomad.
There you go.
So yeah. Alrighty, so hopefully I will see you all next time. And then my other program is next Monday. Thank you. Appreciate it, yes.
We'll see you at airport.
Alright.
Next Monday, last Monday?
Yeah, no, so next Monday is the $1 million one person business model, if you want to go down.
I know.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, Chris, how does the validation work? Is there someone downstairs?
Yes, and I think also that might work as well.
Oh,
Yeah, so check that and then see.
Oh, there you go.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep, I'll see you all later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good to see you.